Welcome to the EndZone YouTube, where everything football is covered. Many of you have requested that we get some CFL videos out. I will be covering the CFL this year. I love the CFL. I've always watched it, so we will be covering that. So this video basically is going to point out some players you may have not known are in the CFL. They're pretty popular in college, and I just thought they stood out when looking through CFL rosters. They were players who I knew from watching in college days. So let's get this video started. The first guy we're going to talk about is Jeremiah Masoli, a former Oregon and Ole Miss quarterback. He had a rough college career, not statistically, but off the field. He had some off the field issues. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about his CFL career. He's been behind a lot of players. He really had to sit for 3 years in the CFL, and he kind of got his starting position in 2017 through 2018. There's been his prime years in the Canadian Football League. He's moved all the way up to one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He has 5,209 passing yards last year in 2018. Was 2018 Hamilton Tiger Cats' most outstanding player and was second in the league in total passing yards. He also had 28 touchdowns to 18 interceptions. And he can rush the ball too. So Jeremiah Masoli has definitely found himself a home in the Canadian Football League. We're all excited to watch him this year. Next up, we have Darren Carter. Ohio State fans, you might remember him. Alabama fans and Florida Atlantic fans also might. He is son of Chris Carter, legendary Hall of Fame wide receiver. He wasn't really able to play much in college, mostly due to eligibility and off-the-field issues. He does have talent, though. I mean, he has made a living in the CFL, spectacular plays like you're seeing here. His first couple of years in the CFL, he really got a good grasp of the league. Last year, though, in 2018, he struggled a little bit. He became a free agent. He was with Saskatchewan and Toronto. He only had 18 catches between both teams last year and 2 touchdowns. But this year, he is with the BC Lions, and he will be with Mike Riley. Mike Riley will be his quarterback. He's probably the best quarterback in the CFL. That'll be definitely interesting to watch, and I cannot wait to watch the BC Lions. But yeah, he has 4,000 total yards in his CFL career, 27 touchdowns, and he can also do a little bit in the punt and kick return game. He's a do-it-all guy. He also played defense for Saskatchewan for a while. So it'll be interesting to see him this year for the BC Lions, and he is a name that some of you might remember, especially in the recruiting process, or if you know who Chris Carter is. Another Oregon quarterback coming in here, Vernon Adams. Yes, from Oregon. I remember watching him. He had that famous left-handed pass against Michigan State. He was awesome at Oregon, but the CFL, he hasn't really had much action. Honestly, there aren't really many highlights, and if there are highlights, he's on the wrong end of them. He plays for the worst team in the CFL. He's currently on the Montreal Alouettes. Needless to say, he has struggled, but he's still in the quarterback room there, and we hope to see him play. I kind of feel bad for the guy playing for the Alouettes. I mean, their offensive line is just awful. Watching some of the highlights, he really has no time to throw. Notre Dame Fighting Irish fans, you'll recognize this name. Yes, DaVaris Daniels, wide receiver, who was let out of Notre Dame early because of some academic issues. And after a couple stints with some NFL teams and tryouts, he found a home at Calgary. So he has been on the Stampede for 3 years. And this year, he is on Edmonton. That'll be exciting to see him in a new place. But his first year in the CFL, he did win the Rookie of the Year award. He had 9 touchdowns in his first year, 885 receiving yards, 51 catches in 11 games played. An incredible receiver, an incredible story, true comeback. Really, his second year in the CFL, so that was 2017. He had 4 touchdowns, 743 yards. 2018, he had 747 yards and 7 touchdowns. So he has been one of the top receivers in the CFL. He's a very big, deep threat. He can also run the ball. He can do a little bit of it all. He's got great hands, and he's become an electric receiver for the CFL. Glad to see him in Edmonton. It's been forever since most people have heard this name, James Franklin. Not Penn State's James Franklin, but Mizzou's James Franklin. Back in the day when he led the Missouri Tigers to the SEC championship. He is a great quarterback in college. Love to see what he's been doing in the CFL. He's played most of his years in Edmonton, but last year he did start for Toronto. He had 2,000 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Want to get that ratio a little better, but he is playing in the CFL, so good for James Franklin coming back, making a name for himself over at the border. Love to see what he can do. Best of luck to him next year. YouTube, I hope you enjoyed our first CFL video. We'll have many more. Let us know down in the comments section who we missed. If there are enough players that we missed, who knows, we can maybe do a video and give you a shout out for recommending that name. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the End Zone.